Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Big League Breakdowns for day 22 of Around the League in 30 days. As we look to the Pittsburgh Pirates, my team, unfortunately, as we preview their 2025 season after a god-awful offseason where nothing happened and I yelled a lot. We're here.
Did you expect them to do stuff? This
Yes,
is a genuine
actually. I don't
question.
know. It's called.
Steelers gone to Super Bowl.
It's
We
you
call
know
that
what it's called?
insanity.
You know what it's called? False hope and insanity. That's a good one too. Yes, because
What were you
I
hoping for?
well, I was hoping for, hey, we have a superstar now in Paul Skeens. Maybe we'll try to build around him and, a couple other guys on the team that have been here for a while. Nope. Nope. No, we'll get into it because, I'm going to be passionate on this.
I'm excited. I'm excited.
Let's look at that lineup for the Pirates in 2025 as I need to pin the chat. Tommy Pham, the big free agent addition in the offseason. Let's go. 37 years old, leading it up the Buccos.
Orioles legend DJ Stewart there.
You know what? To be fair, he's had really good spring training, so I'll give it to you. Brian Reynolds, Oneil Cruz, Kutch is back. Old man Kutch, Joey Bart, Nick Gonzales,
I
who
need your cleanup.
I think I think Gonzalez could be a breakout name this year. Brian Hayes needs to figure it the fuck out. On the bench, Andy Rodriguez, Triolo, Adam Frazier, another absolute Pirates legend, not once, but twice. He comes in as the big free agent acquisition. Jack Sawinski couldn't hit water if he fell out of a boat. On the bench as well. Now looking at the rotation, the only thing I'm happy about, right there at the top, that man, that sexy mofo, Paul Skeens, Mitch Keller, Jarrett Jones, Andrew Heaney. Wow, we needed to address our pitching out of all things on this team. Good job bringing him in. Good on you, Bob. Bailey Falter and the bullpen gets a little bit of an upgrade, I would say. Ferguson, I like that signing. Tim Meza, Justin Lawrence got off the waivers from the Rockies. David Bednar better figure it the hell out this season because I don't know what last season was. And that is the Pittsburgh Pirates in 2025 getting into the headlines. Where do I start? Well, let's
I
start.
don't think you do start. I think you let somebody else start for you.
You know what? I will say, we just talked about before the show, is like, I actually don't think this episode will be that long. I'm going to be passionate about it, it won't be that long. Now I'm feeling, as we're recording, there's a rage building. There really is. I'm not even sugarcoating this.
I'm ready for you to go off.
Mad. I'm so mad.
Please, Bobby, do you have a lower third saying about how bad are the Pirates or how mad do they make you or something along those lines?
Okay, so here's something I need to say about the lower thirds. So I copied them as exactly as Tyler wrote them. You'll see hints of it. You'll see it in the first one. See if you can catch where the rage started to come in. I want you guys, there's going to be a very specific point. If you read the lower third,
yes,
you'll see it. Just trust me on
this.
that.
The rage monster has been building.
And throughout the rest of them, there's a couple extra comments in some of the other ones. See if you can see them.
Dude,
Ty, your face is turning red.
I know. Dude, as I was going through that lineup, I realized how upset I was, and now I'm off. Okay, I'm off the handlebars here. But the Pirates finally got something good for them to happen in 2024. They got a stud who could eventually be the best pitcher of his generation. I'll go out there and say, you guys called me crazy for last year. I think he's on that trajectory. So what did they do? They spent zero money. They brought nobody in. And right there at the bottom, that bottom third, right down there, you'll see it says the Pirates last signed a free agent to a multi-year contract in 2016. And guess what? I graduated high school in 2016, and it doesn't feel like that long ago. It was 9 years ago. Do you understand why I'm upset? Do you understand?
Technically, he was re-signed.
Okay, what? I don't give a shit. Okay, here's the deal. I had hopes for so many people coming into the outfield. Our outfield was absolute dog water last year. They brought in Brian De La Cruz at the deadline. What an acquisition. Absolute dog shit. He's out after 4 months. So, Michael A. Taylor, he was like a great signing at the beginning of last year. He'll fix our outfield. No, awful. Out of there. Connor Joe, see you later. Off to San Diego. I mean, it is a revolving door in the outfield. Thankfully, Cruz is out there, so maybe he'll lock it down. And Brian Reynolds, love you. Can't play defense or shit, but I love you as a batter. So you know what? Let's bring in Tommy Pham to fill that void in right field because he is the long-term future of this team. And there was nobody else out there that I would have really wanted at all. I mean, we couldn't have made a trade for a guy like Brent Rooker or a bunch of. I'm so upset I can't even think of who I would want because I'm clouded by this bullshit that I am seeing as Tommy Pham is leading off at the top, and I realize as I've gone on for about 5 minutes, I do need to pass it to somebody else. So I will
No,
do
you
it.
don't. I'm enjoying this.
Oh, no, you don't. Keep going, buddy.
You want me to do this? Well, in my notes here, I actually wrote the thing that I think I am empathize the most with here. I said, "Fuck you, Bob Nutting, you prick." This guy needs to go so far away from the MLB. There should be the fans should be able to get this guy out. I mean, this is absolute baloney that we've allowed this guy to own a baseball team after never ever spending money. And bro, Pittsburgh is a great baseball town. When they made the playoffs in
historic franchise
2013, 2014, wherever it was, they had that wild card game there. It was that stadium was electric. They had like the blackout, it was crazy. Like the atmosphere was great. And we haven't seen that because you haven't put a roster on you have not allowed Ben Sherrington, and that guy's a fucking idiot too. But I can't even fault. Wow, my voice. That sounds. I'm so pissed off. My voice is cracking. I mean, it's insane. Like what can he do when he says, "Here's 72 cents. Go fucking fix the team." What is he supposed to do?
Here's 72 cents.
With that, I'm gonna breathe and let somebody else talk. So
I'm trying to decide what to piggyback off of.
I don't know what to say, buddy.
I'm not even going to pass it to somebody. Somebody take the floor and tell me if I'm wrong. And am I wrong? Am I crazy?
I'll go because I'm usually the one following Ty. I don't know about
you. That's my spot.
The short answer is that I'm not as negative on the Pirates as Tyler, but I understand that he's frustrated, and I can definitely see it because they do have a lot of pieces that seem like they're ready to take that next step, or they're like a year or so away, but you need to bring in supporting pieces to help fill out that roster, and that's just not what's happening. And yeah, you're waiting until, or Nutting, I should say, is waiting to pull the trigger on anyone until late in the offseason. It seems like he's trying to get anyone on cheap deals. Then really, if he is going to get the 1-year deal, is to go out and get like the right guy on the 1-year deal. Heck, if you want to make a smart move, one thing honestly should be not bringing back McCutchen and bringing in like JD Martinez on a 1-year deal. McCutchen's going to hold you back, and Martinez is a huge option. The one thing I do like a lot with this team, and I do think has a lot of great potential, is their pitching staff, particularly in the starting rotation. I do like their bullpen a lot, and I understand the frustration that what David Bednar did last year was horrendous for like 2/3 of the season. But there was something similar on the Phillies side of it when they had Brad Lidge. Lidge had his amazing season in 2008. In 2009, he had a Bednar season because his ERA was like just under 8 the entire season. And then next year it got better. It was still 3.5. I trust that Bednar is going to figure it out and be, if he can't quite get back to that 2s, he'll still be in the 3s, and you won't be crying as much when you we won't blow as many games at the end. But I do like the other bullpen pieces that you have there. I think you aren't getting Moretta back this year, right, Tyler?
He's out for they said midseason he'll return.
All right, so you'll get him back partway through the season because that was a tough blow to lose them all of last year. But with Skeens at the top of the rotation, regardless of whether we're going to get into this conversation of he stays a Pirate forever or they extend him or whatever,
I'm gonna off myself. We're not doing that.
You still have him under team control for 4 more years after this year. You have Jared Jones. You have was it Bubba Chandler in the minor leagues? You have him in the minor leagues. You still have him in the minor leagues, and then you have Keller for a few years still. So, I mean, you have a solid fort just there. Even someone like Andrew Heaney, who isn't flashy, obviously not this season because of how things are right now, but as a number 5 pitcher, that's not a bad option to have, especially when 5 is really just supposed to eat up innings and get you to the postseason if you're a playoff contender. The real thing is you just Nutty needs to pull the trigger and sign guys to more than 1-year deals. You got lucky in the past around McCutcheon's prime when they had enough guys they were bringing up through the system and that they all came up together and were all great. But now you kind of seems like we've reached at least the peak of what to me seems like the talent that has come up. Yes, you still have a guy or two within a year or two away, but you're now at that point where, especially if you want to take you want to take a chance in the prime years of Paul Skeens, you got to do something now.
Yeah.
Your turn, John.
No.
Yeah.
Hold on. I'm going to set this up for you because I
can breathe.
This is where the frustration happens. Okay. So again, they signed Andrew Heaney. Whoop-de-fucking-do. We're going to trade him at the trade deadline when we're 15 games under 500. We can't develop hitters in this organization for shit. So, John, as somebody who's been a fan of a team in a rebuild, who has, I would say, somewhat successfully, if not successfully, have come out of it, is there any goddamn hope for me, or am I always going to be sad?
All right.
He's going to sit the kid down and give him the talk.
Yeah, let me level with you.
The way he's setting that up is like, all right, I'm going to break you the bad news here, champ.
Let me level with you, buddy. Here's the thing. You have the talent in Paul Skeens that it needs to be your first guy across your first guy through the wall here. That would be your sign that this is going to be improving. Here's the thing. You don't have that because of your GM, and you don't have that because of your owner. You've got to essentially, nothing's going to change, and I think you're right on this. Nothing's going to change until you have an owner that is willing to give you something. Even when we had the Angelos family, I'm not even going to say Peter, but the Angelos family as our owners, when we started turning the corner in the rebuild, talking about the Orioles, you could see the willingness to spend something to try and improve talent, to improve even making changes such as going into the international market like we are now, excuse me. I don't see that for you. And until from the top down, your organization is making those changes, you're going to be in this rut of what is the point? Why are we fans? We're
You're
not
really hitting
improving.
hard.
Well, John set this up perfectly with
Tyler.
I'm going to level with you, kid. You have that is the best setup we've had to
John,
any
you gave
segment
me
so far.
Tyler,
amazing.
I have to be honest with you. The Orioles, for a majority of my childhood, were not good. That's the records show it. And if you go deeper, it was as if they didn't care, and it was frustrating, and they lost fans. I think you're going into this. You're going into that if you're not in the middle of it. So,
John, I've been going through this for the past 15 years.
It's
been 15
gonna
years
get worse.
Since 2013.
It's gonna get worse, pal.
Actually.
And you need to honestly, it might be the best thing for you is to just accept the blow up. Just accept it.
Just
realize.
That's what I want to hear.
Realize that the best thing you could do is go with the Astros method, go with the Orioles method, blow it up, restart it.
But we have.
Nope.
We've had
Do it again.
Let me finish.
For 10 years, we've done it 7 times.
Stop. You didn't do it right. You have to pay attention. You have to pay attention. the analytics, Ty.
Oh my
for
God, dog.
as a fellow small
Is
market
water wet?
as a fellow small market fan of a small market team, analytics makes us even with everyone else, and we have to hit on our analytics. The Tigers, the Pirates,
Gritty Tigers.
That is my team. That's my.
Tyler's
not,
turning orange, not red.
have not done that. And yeah, you have Paul Skeens. Yeah, he's going to be a really good pitcher. But you need to accept the fact that you're going to just enjoy him for the time being. He's not going to be here forever.
You know what's funny about?
I was gonna hate when he turns.
And you
30.
know what might be the best thing is to trade him and get a lot of pieces when he's older. Not now. When he's older. Okay. It's like how Manny Machado was for us. Okay? When he's older, you trade him, you get some pieces.
He's talking
John
to me like I'm a
saying, trade Paul
child. And
Skeens to the Orioles.
need it.
What'd you say?
John is basically saying trade Paul Skeens to the Orioles.
Dude,
we can give you prospects.
Literally,
This was all a sales pitch to say lose hope and give them to us.
Ty, I've got to level with you. It's not fun, but you're gonna have to blow it up. And honestly, what might be the best option for you to do is to go with somebody from maybe like the St. Louis front office, or even go with somebody from the Astros front office that was there during that rebuild, like what we did, because they went through it with everything with the Astros, with how bad they were, and they rebuilt it, and they built a dynasty down there. And as much as we want to say it's a tainted dynasty, it's still a dynasty, and they own that division every year now.
Yeah, John.
So
John, I'm gonna level with you now, and nothing changed because I mean the guy literally doesn't. I mean, he is the most selfish prick I've seen on this planet Earth.
Is he a fan of the team?
No.
Is he from Pittsburgh?
I have no idea, but I don't care. He could be from Saturn. He's an awful person. So.
Yeah, you might be SOL, and it's sad. It's so sad.
It's really sad. I'm depressed.
Oh yeah, it is.
Hold on.
Is.
Ty, I'll tell you why it's sad. From a historical standpoint, you are one of the first MLB teams in history.
Yeah.
You were in the first World Series.
Yeah.
Okay? That's how sad it is.
Yeah.
You have fallen to this point.
It is, John.
You have fallen to this point. The Pirates, as a franchise, hit the first walk-off home run in World Series history to win the damn thing. And it's sad that this historic franchise, which should honestly, based on that, should be a big market team, but they're not. And you need the help. You need help. You need a lifeline. The best thing that could happen. Help. The best thing that could happen to you is exactly what is happening to the Rays and their fans, which is that the commissioner says, "Hey, buddy, you need to sell the team."
He's from West Virginia, by the way.
Oh, a horrible place. That explains so much.
Close to Pittsburgh.
It is close to Pittsburgh, at least.
Depending on where you are, yeah.
John, I am 27 years old. 27 years old. You want to know why he doesn't get better? I've seen them make the playoffs in 3 of my 27 years. 1/9 of the years I've been on planet Earth, they've been in the playoffs. And John, I'm gonna get so angry again. I'm gonna get angry because John, you know what? You're right. You're right. The way that you, as a small market team, compete is analytics. So what did they do? They were analytical. They brought in a first baseman, Spencer Horowitz, who great analytical. I mean, they love him. Traded Luis Ortiz away. Makes me a little fucking upset. I'm not going to lie to you, but we traded him away. So we conquered that, right? And then he gets here, and he's out. He's out for an injury, for a chronic, something that happened in Toronto, wrist injury that has been known. We traded for a broken toy. And now who do we have at first? My fat ass is going to be out at first like Rowdy Tellez was last year. Like, do you understand? Like, there's oh yeah. All right, I gotta reel it in. Okay, I'm
No,
trying, but it's
let it
really
go.
tough.
Tyler, talk about the good thing
The good
about the
thing,
Pirates.
the pitching. Paul Skeens, we've already talked about him. So yeah,
all right. Can I before you continue? Can I please look at your
No, we moved
last
on.
year's?
Tough.
No.
Can I look at
No,
last
no.
year's starting rotation to help you out here?
We'll let him
I made you
introduce it,
depressed.
and then he'll go to you, and you
no,
can
no,
do
no.
that.
Let me introduce us, right? Because at least we have the starting rotation. Sure,
Bailey
I love
Falter, Cy Young.
I love
1.5.
I love Paul Skeens. Again, I'll say it again. Jared Jones, very promising. Very promising. I hope that he is gonna be a superstar. Holy shit, was it a tale of two halves last year. He was really good when he came up. And in the second half, granted, was battling injuries. He was not good. So hopefully we get first half Jared Jones in 2025. Let's look next to Mitch Keller. Good. I mean he's fine, It is what it is. He is still 28 and it feels like he's been around for a billion years. 4.25 ERA last year, really can't complain too much. I Luis Ortiz would have been nice in this rotation, but we got I'm so lost in my thoughts right now. I'm sorry. We got Andrew Heaney. He comes in again. He'll be traded at the deadline. And Bailey Falter, I do not believe for 1 second that guy is going to do what he did in 2024. I'm betting the house that he doesn't do what he did last year. I'm sorry. I seen him pitch for Philly. Holy shit! What the hell was that?
Hey, the 2022 Bailey Falter that actually he was great. I mean, he wasn't as good the second season, but he wasn't like horrible. But I mean, we just didn't really need him anymore, so he was an expendable piece to us. I mean, he is a number 5. That's what it is. He's a number 5 pitcher, and at his best, he might be a number 3 pitcher, but he's a number 5 pitcher.
I don't know, man.
And so he's doing his job right now at the back end for you guys.
Again,
right now it seems like Heaney and Falter to me are just fillers until Chandler comes up, and then you decide if you're going to spend money to get another pitcher or not. We're in a trade.
And they have Braxton Ashcraft too, who they've been high on, but it's like I don't know. I mean, yeah, Falter was good last year, but the problem is like the whole team and like the whole team has been for so long. I mean, I kind of joke about it. The Pirates are the best team in baseball in April. You can't convince me otherwise. They're then the worst team from July to September because like the second half numbers on all these guys are just like it's so bad. And Falter was another guy that kind of fell off toward the end. I don't know. I mean, I look at the starting pitching is what I have the most hope for, which is funny because coming into last year, I think I even said on the podcast, I was like, I don't know about the starting pitching, but like our lineup has potential to like step up this year, and I was very wrong. It was the opposite. Do I think we're like a top 10 or top 5 rotational league right now? No, but there is pieces to improve. But like, I don't know. I guess from an outside perspective, I see these guys pitch a lot, but like just on like statistics and stuff, like again, I mean, Skeens, Jones, and Keller are really good 1, 2, 3, but I just know how these guys are late in the season when we're 10 games under 500 and we're struggling to do anything, and these guys are putting up like outings where they're giving up like 5 runs in 3 innings. So I don't know. Uh, it's good, but is it good enough? The problem is it's got to be good enough to carry a dog shit offense. That's really the issue. Yeah, I don't know. I don't have much else to say about the positive. I'm ready to yell again.
I think in terms of your core, the core of your rotation is definitely Skeens and Jones here. And honestly, what's good is their performance in spring training. I mean, Skeens needs to be better, but he could be working on some stuff. But Jones looks like he's tearing it up in spring training, which is good for you. My suggestion to you and to every Pirates fan out there would be this:
Get a therapist.
tune in to watch your favorite player and hope that they do well.
John, this is like the most I love it, but it's like the most backhanded way. Like this is how you talk to a child when you have bad news.
I'm
And
sorry.
I
There's
know.
nothing good to say. It
John's
know.
taking off the
sucks.
gloves and is like, I'm just gonna slap you because that's what you need
It
to expect.
sucks, Ty.
It
This
does.
sucks. It sucks so hard.
Well, when you talk about like, let's watch for star players, one thing I am curious to say is Oneil Cruz is going to be the everyday center fielder, which I think is going to be pretty cool. I think shortstop that plays the outfield now, and is obviously has the speed, has the arm to play it. I personally think defensively, it's going to be a big upgrade for him. Um, well, I'll ask you this: I think you look at Oneil Cruz, and yes, he has a lot of pop. I mean, I forget the exact stat, but he had like 4 out of the 5 like hardest hit balls or something or home runs
Yeah.
last year, whatever it was. But this guy strikes out like a third of the time, and we have a lot of those hitters in the league. But how do you think like he transitions his whole game this year? But now playing center field.
I mean, what he was 34 doubles, 21 home runs last year. So really it's just a matter of what you got to do to get him from being less of a doubles hitter and more of a home run guy. I think that's just a matter of experience because as you said, the dude can hit absolute rockets. Now is it going to be launch angle and all that crap? I don't even want to get into that conversation. As for pitches he chases, I kind of got this. Tommy Pham might be someone that could actually help him. I know you're gonna gripe about him being who he is, and he's old. But only reason I'm saying that is there was a Phillies Pirates spring training game, and I was listening to the Pirates broadcast because they were the home team. They were interviewing Pham, and I think Pham was talking about Cruz. Um, and he was very matter of fact of how this interview was going. It was really kind of throwing me because you expect kind of players like they'll be honest, but they're kind of like they don't say much, whatever. Pham was very kind of like strict about everything, like almost was like close to drill sergeant like and how he was built and how he was talking. He was saying something about like Cruz. He was like, yeah, the kid's got a lot of potential, but he's just got to learn how to like focus and keep his head on. Like, if you want to be good, you have the ability. You just got to put your foot forward. And I think that's kind of what it is with him right now is he hits the ball really hard. But he's a free swinger. He strikes out a lot because of it. I think that if he has some type of leadership now that he has some type of leadership this year that he could at least fall to. I still think in general he's probably going to be a 250 hitter for you guys, but I think he could take the leap to hit 30 plus home runs this year. And I think that overall the move to center will be better than keeping him at short.
Yeah, I know. I think from a defensive standpoint, I love the move to center field for him. Um, we seen glimpses of it last year, and he wasn't the best shortstop, like defensive shortstop anyway. And it's at the point where we just need, we need good players in the outfield, right? Like we have kind of a set infield, but the outfield is where we're lacking. So moving a guy like him there and IKF can come in and play short is good. As you said, he has the power. It's funny that you mentioned Tommy Pham like that though, because like he was the guy years ago that didn't he like get into a fight with a teammate over like fantasy football or something? I don't know if you guys heard that
I don't
story, but
remember.
I'm pretty sure that's true when he was on the Reds, I think. So, you know, Fab, I think as much as I ragged on him, I think he can be a good influence and for what it's worth, I mean, he actually had a pretty good 2024, but I'm just upset because that's not when you want a team to spend money. You don't want to see them bring in a 37-year-old, right fielder. That's not really the answer.
Why
Um,
not?
why? You're such an antagonizer.
I mean, all right, if you're not, yeah, the word, I mean, if you want, the first thing you want is you want your owner or your GM to make the signings to advance your younger team to the next level. He didn't do that. Curse him all you want. The next option that you just gotta hope for, and it's not something that you're going to be able to see right away, is just that he brings in the right veteran guys to help. with the improvement of the young guys. And because I do think with this Pirates team as a whole, their pitching staff is very good, and they have I don't even think at their worst their pitching staff is going to be like bottom half of baseball. I think at the worst it would be in the middle of the pack, but I think they could be hovering around that like 10th spot, like ERA wise or whatever at the end of this season. And I think that the pitching staff is good enough that it can get your team closer to 500 than you realize. I mean, you do have to hope that maybe that certain young guys take next steps, whether it be one your catching decision gets decided between the three catchers, or Brian Hayes, looks like he knows how to hold a bat, and Cruz maybe hits 30 home runs instead of 20, but or Nick Gonzales takes the next step. But if some like a couple of those guys do take the next step and your pitching staff does well, I do think your team could be closer to 500 than you realize. And so you just got to hope that the young guys are taking those next steps off like with whatever leadership's there to get you to at least 500. Then maybe, Nutting will get, he'll be kind Mr. Scrooge. He'll come out of his sleep and start dropping money on everything.
It's just funny because we were like, as Pirates fans, were ecstatic when we went out and got IKF and De La Cruz. Like, that's the level we're not even expecting to go out there and sign Juan Soto. We're just looking for competent players.
I think Nutting's thing is, I'm probably speaking out of my ass just because I don't think anyone can truly know what's going on inside that head. But I feel like for him to make any type of a move, if you're going to take last year, what they did at the trade deadline is kind of the most interesting stuff he's done. The young teams got to show that they're basically a playoff team. Now that might mean that they're like an 83 win team, kind of like what the Orioles were a few years ago before they took the big jump the next year. Now, granted, that was with all the young talent, but with the Pirates, I mean, if the young talent as it is kind of can peak their win total around 83, then maybe Nutting does, even if it's a 1 year deal, but it's for a better person on a 1 year deal than a Pham or a Heaney, could then push the team up to 80, 89 wins. And in this division, that's enough to compete.
I mean, they do have
to prove that you're worth the investment.
To Nutting.
Yeah, but like
for the fans, we believe you.
The difference though is like with the Orioles, they had you kind of knew the young guys that were going to be good, right? Like it was Rutschman, it was Henderson. Like you seen that, hey, these are going to be guys that are great batters. That's the problem with the Pirates is like they've again just never really been able to develop batters. So like you got Hayes at third, he's not really young anymore. Nick Gonzales is the one guy who can get better. We'll see about Horowitz. He's still young. But then like Cruz is out there. So it's like their team is not as young as you would, I guess, hope per se. In terms of like
Nick Gonzales can be
behind Cruz and Reynolds.
I think you'll be pretty surprised by Gonzales.
And
his batting average is pretty good.
I wanted to talk about him next anyway. I do think watching games last year, I thought that he was somebody that was somewhat reliable. And he was a former 7th overall pick. There was, a lot of pressure on him to come up and be great. And when he came up in his first year, he was like not good. So it's nice to see him bounce back. But, we don't have a lot of guys like Nick Gonzales where we're just like, we have all these prospects out the ass where we're kind of churning them out. Like
you don't have them yet.
Not yet, but like I don't know. Again, I'm comparing it to the Orioles, who hindsight's 2020 because they came out on the right side of it. But like it felt like when they were coming up again, like they had guys. They're like, we know that these guys are going to be the core pieces to our team, and there was more of them than what the Pirates have because like that whole team was so young, but.
Here's the thing that the Orioles did that was really smart, I think, is they really solidified up the middle with their catcher, shortstop, center field, and second base. I think what you have now is center field and second base. I mean, honestly, Gonzales I think he's going to be the stereotypical really good second baseman, for you, where he has a high batting average and gets on base, doesn't have a ton of power, but and has a great glove. That's what I think he's going to get, and I think that's what you want, honestly.
Yeah.
I
Go
mean,
ahead,
right
what were you
now
going
with
to
the
say?
way this Pirates team kind of is to me, and I know at least to you, Ty, I'm just going to be spitting stuff that you know exactly, like things you've heard 100 times, probably things we've talked about. But I mean, there's really, I guess there's two spots. I mean, three if you want to count DH, but DH is such a flexible position nowadays, or it can be depending on what a team decides to be. Really only have two spots where you can make the big push, and that's shortstop and an outfield spot. I know you've said about putting Brian Reynolds as your DH and take him out of the outfield. If that's the move they do, that's fine. The question then becomes is those are your two positions. How do you fill it? And so right now, if you're trying to construct an order, at least ideally in my mind right now of how things maybe look or could be, if everyone's kind of at their potential that you're thinking, Gonzalez could be the leadoff guy. Horowitz would be if healthy. Um, I feel like not maybe your stereotypical number two hitter nowadays. I almost feel like more and more teams are putting their best hitters second. But Horowitz is someone, at least in the minor leagues, he had good batting average, good OPS. And even last year, he had a 790 OPS in his little time the time that he had up. And what, he had 16 home runs as a rookie. Like, that's not too shabby. And that can get you into and I expect him to be a 20 home run guy when he plays a full season. Or if we're going to say he's going to have this chronic thing always, and he's more of like 130 guy, still, I think he could be a 20 to 24 home run guy. And if he can bat 280, then that's pretty good. Then you got Reynolds and Cruz, and maybe your lineup is you have Reynolds second, Cruz third, Horowitz fourth. And then the point is that then you have your catching spot, and I think Bart's probably the one that stands out to me right now, but it could be
Yeah.
Rodriguez. I just don't think it's Davis. He's probably the expendable one that could get traded.
Which is crazy because, like, God, man, that was the guy, right? He was the
That's what
one
it
pick.
seemed like. Yeah, he's
Yeah.
built like a wall. Like every time I see him on TV, he just looks like, I don't know what it is. He's just so massive. It seems like, for
Yeah.
not being a big guy. He's really broad. But point is that I feel like top of the order isn't actually too bad with the potential wise. You could still probably have one guy that helps contribute as to fill out that top of the order. But other than that, I'd say if you got guys that were really dependable defensively at their positions and could put up maybe average or slightly above average offensive numbers, you'd be surprised. And so therefore, you can get maybe a little cheaper at shortstop or the outfield. But if they can fill like what I just said, then I think you got enough right there for a team with the pitching staff to get you upper 80s or even 90 wins.
So let me tell you a move that I think you guys could do that.
Trade Paul Skeens to the Orioles for Kobe Mayo.
No, I'm actually trying to give him a serious one this time. But yeah, if you want Kobe Mayo, that would fix the issue.
What about Jackson Holiday? He can play shortstop.
No.
Anyway, all right, fine. We'll take Skeens and have Holiday. Fine. we'll have Gunner too. We'll have 2/3 of the MLB The Show cover. Anyway, if Brian Hayes, if he has a really good season and can stay healthy, one thing that I think you should do is trade him.
I wish.
Get some prospects for him. Honestly, it would probably be the best thing for you. Get some relief pitching, and especially get a young shortstop, and get probably a catcher would probably be best. It sounds like
One
you
that
have
stands out.
No, they have catching. They have 3
question
catching
mark.
options.
Well, so
they have options, but are they the right options?
So with
they have 2 potential. They're fine catching, but shortstop and outfield would be 2 good spots to look at.
So Davis is tough because obviously I want him to stand out, but he did not look good in his time last year, and it looks like he is going to be starting in the minors. He is only 25, so there is some room for him to grow. But with this Horowitz injury, it might allow Andy Rodriguez to get in the lineup, which I I don't know. Like I like Bart. He was really good last year when we got him. But I feel like Endy might have the most upside out of the three. Just looking at it now. So I would like, again, we have all these catchers. It would be nice for one of them to stand out. And I'm not gonna say that, Henry Davis is a bust at this point, but I was very disappointed with how he was last year. The one notable thing about him, which maybe keeps him around the league, even if he isn't a great batter, is that when he was catching, our pitching was really, really good. Like he's a very good like quote unquote quarterback for the rotation and the pitchers and stuff. So, he eh, like that's his value, but we just really need somebody to step up in the catcher spot. And Bart did that for a lot of the season last year. Like he provided some power, he was clutch. After like San Fran got rid of him, after he was such a high pick. So, one of those guys should have to stand out. And then I guess like to round this whole conversation out is I guess I mean we talked about Brian Hayes and I want you to just put this lower third up for a second because I think this is my favorite one. I did it was is it make or break for Brian Hayes? He was atrocious, not a joy to watch in 2024, and that is true. I
Oh, he was
guess
hurt.
he was hurt, but we know, I mean, he's a great defender. Um, that's
I-
where his value is, but he
When
he is
when he's on the
struggling.
field, he's a solid like he has solid numbers. Like
He dipped last
2023,
year.
he dipped last year, but he only played 96 games. In 2023, he played 124, not a full season, obviously, but he hit 15 home runs and had a batting average of 271. That's pretty solid for, playing only 124 games. And then playing 136 the year before that, when he was younger, batted 244. So I think that's pretty good. And that's why I say, like, if he's healthy, I think you should trade him because I think definitely there is a team out there looking for a third baseman, looking for that
Yankees.
someone to cover that hot corner. Anyway,
Yankees and Mariners.
yeah, probably I could see him go to the Mariners. Honestly, though, I
Everyone goes to
could.
the Mariners.
Yeah, and then they don't know how
But
to
he doesn't.
hit.
He won't hit because he's a right-handed hitter.
Well, I mean,
Exactly.
look, Brian Hayes, I will say this. He is a top three defensive third baseman. I'm not questioning
Mhm.
that. I mean, the guy is amazing, but I don't know if it was the lofty expectations because when he came up, that was the guy in 2020. It's like, holy shit, we
Mhm.
have a future. Like, there's a guy that knows how to play baseball, and he came up. And I don't know if it's because like he had these high expectations, but again, last year was a down year, and he's not a home run guy. So obviously, you get defense out of him. But if he's not getting on base, he's basically useless at batting. So
Mm.
it's like, how much do you care about defense that this guy is still batting in your lineup? I guess is the question. I don't know.
And
Billy,
You
Billy,
want him
this is
to
that's the
Brian
thing.
Hayes.
That's the model.
Well,
Yeah.
that's the thing is that you look at it how I said where if he's healthy and is staying on the field and having a good year, that's why you trade him because somebody's definitely looking for a defensive third baseman there. Um, One thing I did want to point out before we completely get off of these catching prospects, and I'm sorry to go back, a lot of these guys are are 25 or older, all three of them.
Yeah.
That's my point is that I think your prospects need to get younger in that
I mean,
aspect.
yeah.
My personal opinion is I don't like having prospects either in the minors or that haven't made a mark at all in the majors at from 25 and above. I don't like that you guys probably differ with me. I mean, pitchers are different, but I'm talking about hitters specifically. I prefer my prospects to be 24 or younger, and the younger the better. So it what might be
I'm laughing because the first thing I thought about was Leonardo DiCaprio. Like, you're that for baseball. I need,
That's where you went?
yes. I need
better than
him
where I
young.
went. That's better than where I
Okay.
went.
I think Tyler's lost it, and someone needs to wrap
Yes.
it up.
Well, let's get
I'll-
back to Brian
I'll-
Hayes. Let's get back to Brian Hayes.
Well, no.
So I think if he has a good year, you trade Brian Hayes, and I think you get younger prospects.
Well, yeah, to that point, I mean, you were kind of going on the last thing I want to touch on, which is that your cornerstone guys right now are not getting any younger. Like Brian Reynolds is 30. Brian Hayes, like if you want to call him that, he's 28. So it's to the point of all right. So if they finally develop prospects, that's great. But how old are there? How old is Brian Reynolds going to be when this team is competitive, right? Like how is he going to be 32, 33, 34? Like, and at that point is he past his prime? So yeah, they got to figure it out because having a great farm system is fantastic. But if nothing pans out, and you
Hey, bite
waste
your tongue.
and if you waste a career like Brian Reynolds is low key. I mean, he is a very, very good player. Like he's not talked about around the league, but he's very good. But it's just like how we got to put a team around a guy like him, man, and Paul Skeen. So regardless, that's all I have to say. That went on for way too long, but I'm very angry. So that's on me.
It's okay. It's okay, buddy.
Yeah, that was my therapy for the week. So thanks, guys. That is all for episode 22 of Around the League in 30 Days. That was an interesting one, but next time we will be heading to San Diego to check on the Padres. If you if you want to follow us on Twitter, you can follow us at BL_breakdowns, Big League Breakdowns everywhere else. If you like the video, like it, subscribe to the channel if you want more as we are continuing to push along on the final stretch here of Around the League in 30 days. It's been fun, but it has been a grind. So we'll be closing it out in the next few days, and soon enough we'll be talking about MLB opening day. But until next time, we will see you later.
Wear your seatbelt. We're giving up for day 23. Yay, day 23.